Online, you see lots of people talking about the power to manifest, the power of the mind, to influence the material world. You hear about intentions, but is there any science behind any of this stuff? Hi, I'm Dr. Peacock. I'm an adult psychiatrist. My answer to this will shock you. Yes, there's lots of science behind it. In fact, I used this work long before I even knew it was a thing to begin to manifest the life that I wanted. I flunked out of 8th grade, and I was kicked out of 9th grade and 10th grade, and I stumbled through high school, and they somehow handed me a diploma that I hadn't really truly earned. I worked my early life as a roofer. My parents, no judgment, honestly no judgment, they hadn't even completed high school. They had their challenges that they had to meet in their life. I tell you this because that was not the foundation of somebody that was going to be able to manifest the life that I'm living today as a physician. My life has been a gift because of the ability to manifest. So what do I mean by this? I started having experiences when I was a young man and I wouldn't know what to call it, but now I do. It was precognitive and presentiment. I would have these memories of a future that yet to be, but I would have this sense of knowing, and I had a sense of who I would become in the future. And I would talk about this to a few people, but I mostly kept it silent. So is there science around precognition, presentiment, the ability to know things yet to unfold? Yes, there's been tons of research on it. In fact, Dean Radin has been doing research on this for a long time. And they've replicated this stuff, and they've done it over and over again. And so the science is settled in my mind on this stuff. And then what about the ability of the mind to influence the material world? Is there science on that? Yes. There's been an ongoing thing called the Global Consciousness Project. It started at Princeton University. And what they did is they had these random number generators. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a random number generator, just generates numbers randomly. But with the power of intention, focus, shifting it, you could shift the numbers from random to non-random, to patterned. And they would demonstrate that. And then they showed that this random number generator would become non-random before, in the days leading up to major events like 9/11, the death of Princess Diana. They actually saw it become non-random because it wasn't just intention, it was shared attention. The mind influences the material world. It's even deeper than just the mind influencing the material world. Donald Hoffman, if you haven't read or watched his TED Talk or read any of his work, he gives a very compelling and interesting argument that the mind or consciousness or awareness is the thing that actually renders the material world. We're living in a virtual headset, and that time and space isn't fundamental. And that's fascinating to think about, because that's been my experience as well, is that our ability to be able to transcend this time and space is present for all of us with the power of intention. So what do I mean by intention? What I mean by intention is it's focused on the manifestation of what shall be. And it's not just bound by the future. I do a lot of what I call past intention, retrocausal intention. And there's really interesting research on that as well. And people are surprised by this. So there's research that has shown that we've been able to influence outcomes on medical outcomes through what is called classically like secular prayer, and really fascinating research on that as well. Future events influence us now, and it looks as if it does. Julie Mossbridge has done research on this, and other people like Daryl Bem have done research on this, showing that if we were to see a picture of something, a randomly generated picture of something that could be potentially threatening to us, we have increased sympathetic arousal. That's presentiment. So elevated heart rate, galvanic skin response. They don't call it galvanic skin response now. It's skin impedance. But so our body, our sensing of the future. So the mind isn't just influencing the world. It renders the entire world before us, and we're shaping and manifesting our very lives. As a quick aside, Donald Hoffman got his PhD at MIT. He was a professor at UC Irvine. He's now professor emeritus, but he's still doing research there. Dean Radin has his PhD. He's been doing research in this field for decades. This is real science, and it's just not woohoo stuff. Most people that dismiss it a priori. They never go into it. I've corresponded with them. I've emailed them. I've engaged this, and I've been thinking about this for decades now. And I've had experiences that align with it. So it's not just fluff. It's not just the woohoo stuff that you hear about. The science is here, and it's amazing, and it's shocking. And so people will say, are you arguing that death isn't even a thing? Yes. We are conscious agents. So whether you call it source or soul or spirit, this very material world that we're living in is not us. Fundamentally, at our very base, we are consciousness. And we are rendering this world before us. And not only, like Donald Hoffman says, that we've rendered it, and much like the research of Dean Radin, time and space is not fundamental, and we're still influencing how it unfolds. And how do we shift from seeing and manifesting a world predominantly of threat to a world of resources and potential and opportunities, so we can engage in this world in a more meaningful, connected, and loving way. And that's the power of manifestation, and that's the value of this work. So how do you do this work, and how do you do manifestation and intentions work? I'll tell you what I did. I got really clear about the man I wanted to become. Not what I would do, but why I would do it. I developed what we call approach goals. I'll go into approach goals in another talk, and I'll get real clarity around that, but your intentions have to be built upon approach goals, these things that pull you into an unfolding future. And I saw it embodied in the man I'd become. I wish I had thought of myself maybe as a little taller and better looking, but I have arrived. And I continued to talk to that man as if he was real. And so when I came across a challenging time in my life, I would ask myself, what would I do if I was the man that I'm going to become? I made that really clear. I wrote it down, and I would see it, and I would act it into the world. That's the power of manifestation, seeing it and really believing it. And so when people say, you want me to imagine it, I don't want you to imagine it. I want you to imagine from, literally from. So when psychology, we talk about the external locus outside of yourself, the internal locus, the idea that I am the person who takes responsibility for my life and I take on the challenges of my very being. It is the imagined from experience. And then the next thing, and I still do this, and I have run an intentions group, and I keep my intentions. I have ongoing intentions that I'm manifesting, some small, some tiny steps. Sometimes my intentions aren't going in the direction I want, so I take a step back, I take a small bite out of it, and I manifest the next step. So it's not just this great leap. It is a step in the direction that's pulling me into that future manifestation. The other thing I do, and I want all of you to do this, I hold the intentions that have been met with the intentions that are yet to be, and I think and I focus on all of them. All of them, even the ones that have been met. And people say, why would you hold on to those ones? It isn't just to say, oh, they're manifesting. It is because it's all within the body of the potentiality of manifestation. All of it is there. And so I focus on those, and I go back and I revisit them, because time and space is not fundamental. And I'm shaping. And there are things in the past that I'm reshaping and changing, not just my memories. People say, oh, memories aren't real, they're not fixed. And that is true. They're always changing. Every time you activate a memory, it goes into what's called a labile changing state. It's transformed. People say, are you just changing your memories, or are you just fundamentally changing the past? Well, I don't know. But I do know, with the power of intention, we're influencing. We are definitely influencing what may have occurred in that moment. So hold all of your intentions, write them down, make them approach goals, and focus on them. And focus on the ones that have been met, because within that realm of potentiality, they all are manifesting. This is powerful. You will change your lives. Thank you. Email me at larrypeacockmd@gmail.com. Everything on this and any other social media site is for entertainment purposes only. It's not meant to be construed as medical advice. If you have any specific questions, please always refer back to your provider. All questions should be general. Thank you very much.